This episode of the Fight Within podcast is presented to you by Meguiar's. For over 115 years, Meguiar's has been carefully creating and producing advanced formulas with cutting-edge chemistry to deliver a show car perfect appearance. Whether you're showing on the fairway, finalizing your car for auction, or simply getting your beloved car ready for a weekend drive, Meguiar's is ready to help with their premium car care products to make every automotive surface look its absolute best. Meguiar's, reflect your passion. Make sure to visit them at meguiars.com.
What's up, guys, and welcome to another episode of the Fight Within podcast. Today's guest is founder and owner of Cali Tacos, Mr. Josh Torres. How you doing, man? Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thank you.
No, thank you guys for having me.
Of course, man. So we were, I don't know why, but we do it so much where we like talk to the guests before, and we always have a really
for
good,
a long time.
we have really good conversations.
I think we do
before.
it every interview.
Oh yeah.
And we miss so much of the
Yeah,
good stuff because we're just talking.
We should have like a pre and post show.
Dude.
But anyways, yeah, man, thank you so much for coming on. And, you know, a lot of people know you as the owner of Cali Tacos. And you know, we were talking a little bit on how tough the restaurant industry is. And just tell us a little bit about your background, kind of how you got to where you are today, and then why the restaurant business.
Long story.
Yeah, we have time.
But so I was kind of born into the taco shop industry.
Okay.
My mom has a taco shop down in San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
She opened up in '92.
Dang.
The way she learned the industry was through my sister's godfather.
Mm-hmm.
And the way he learned the industry and the recipes and everything is back in like the late 60s, early 70s, there's this guy, Roberto, that started the whole taco shop concept called Roberto's Taco Shop. So he started opening up all these taco shops, and he started hiring all kinds of different people. One of them was my sister's godfather. And somewhere around like the mid 70s, a lot of the brothers, a lot of the just family members that were working with Roberto were like, I want to open up my own business, but what can I do so everyone knows I'm selling the same food, but it's a different owner. And that's where you got Alberto's, Philly Birdos.
Oh, really?
All the Birdos.
Aldobertos or Aldobertos
Yes.
or whatever it's called. Yeah.
So the original guys, that's how they started.
That's crazy.
And that's like the whole taco shop concept. That's why when you go to San Diego, there's one in every corner, sometimes
Yeah, literally.
two per corner.
That's pretty dope.
So that's like the history of where my food comes from.
Mm-hmm.
And come right around 91, my mom was like, I want to open up my own business. I don't know what I should do. She's talking to her friends, which is, again, my sister's godfather and his wife. And they're like, open up a taco shop. We'll show you the ropes and how to cook everything. So my mom's like, all right, let's do it. She opened up her store. I hated it. I honestly did.
Why?
I stopped. That's where it was like, I wasn't allowed to like go to school and go home and just play.
Oh.
Like every other kid.
Mm-hmm.
Now is more after school, you need to come to the restaurant and help out somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it was separating the beans from the rocks, I mean, just making little hot sauces,
Yeah.
bags of carrots and stuff. So I hated it. And then
How old were you at that time?
7.
Oh, wow.
That's
So you
awesome.
really hated it.
Yeah. And then come 9 years old, they're like, oh, you're old enough to hop on the register. So next thing you know, I'm on the register back there, and I'm a little guy, so
Yeah.
everyone's coming in. They're like, this is illegal. Like, I'm going to call child services. And then I was like, no, like, it's my mom's place. So my mom would come out, nice Mexican lady. And she was like, so then they would see we're just trying to work, make ends meet, you know. So I started working there right around 9. I actually didn't even like our food.
That's funny.
I'm Mexican. What do you eat at home? Mexican food.
Yeah.
My mom's making Mexican food, and I want like burgers. I want pizza.
Yeah.
McDonald's. They had like these awesome Happy Meals. Like
That's
I was
so
like, dude,
funny.
I want to go there. I don't know how to eat this. So, but everything started to change for me right around 96, 97, where out of nowhere, it was an underground thing that was happening all over San Diego, and the people were coming in. They're like, "Hey, I've had this like bed of fries with like meat and cheese, and then or a burrito with fries and meat and cheese and all these items." So we're like, "All right." We started making them. Next thing you know, they're a very popular item. No one had it on their menu. Me being on the register all the time, my parents came up to me. They're like, "Hey, we're going to put it on the menu. What do you think we should price it at?" I was like in 7th grade. You know? And I'm like playing with the register, like 3 something plus tax equals $4.20. I was like, this. We should price it out we should price it like this. And they're like, all right, that makes sense. So then we started pricing it out. People were coming in and, can I get some $4.20 fries?
That's funny.
Wow.
That's pretty funny.
So that happened like around middle school, and I don't know, it was, for me, I was like, man, I like that, you know, like people are coming in, I'm making kind of like, not like a name for myself, but I'm actually getting to choose things and people like them. I was like, wow, it's a great feeling.
Did you feel, was it like empowering knowing that you kind of had something, almost everything to do with that and the popularity of that food item?
Absolutely. You know, so a few years later, after high school, I'm like, I don't know, probably like 19. My stepdad came up to me. He goes, someone now told me why we're charging $6 for carne asada fries and they're still asking for $4.20 fries.
That's funny. That's pretty funny.
Yeah. So, and then, but like for me, the fries in the burrito, the better fries, I was starting to get that McDonald's kind of feel. I'm like, I'm not missing out on McDonald's that much.
Yeah.
You know? So that's where I saw, I don't know, I saw a whole different, I had a whole different point of view of Mexican food in itself. I said, this is different. I love the taste. Growing up, all my friends were like, oh, Cali burrito, it's so bomb, it's amazing. And I was like, man, that's cool.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, we make those. So I was doing that. Then I, after high school, I was trying to go to community college. I was going to private, like, real estate school, trying to get my real estate license. I was working full-time at the restaurant.
While going to school.
While going to that other real estate school. And I was partying. You know, it's college, dude. Let's party. And I was failing at all of them.
At everything.
At everything, including party. Like, so.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. So then, my parents were like, "Hey, you're not showing up to work. Your grades are bad. Like, what's going on?" And it just kept going on. And then they're like, "You gotta go." Like, what do you mean? I'm like, your best cook, your best cashier. What do you mean I gotta go?
Yeah.
And they're like, we don't want you to think or blame us down the road that you didn't do this because we needed you. and it's starting to show like that maybe this isn't for you.
Dang.
Yeah.
That's some wisdom right there.
Yeah.
But you probably hated it.
I was, it was one of those, it hit the ego, like, how are they getting rid of their superstar?
Yeah. So
You know?
true, though.
And I was like, shoot, man, like, what am I going to do?
Mm.
So I was like, well, I have an understanding for food. What are other things that are necessities just to live? I was like, well, you need a place to live.
Mm-hmm.
You need something to eat. I was like, transportation. I was like, I kind of have an understanding for real estate, food, but I know nothing about transportation.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, started looking in the Union Tribune, looking through ads, and I found jobs at car dealerships.
Mm-hmm.
So I went, I applied at a few. I got hired at all the ones that I applied at, but the one that really stuck out to me was with Lincoln. They were one of the first dealerships that were one price. So there's no negotiating. So you go in there, it's a luxury brand, so your client base is completely different than Toyota, than Mercedes. I went there, I liked it the most, and I started there. So what the car business was for me, it was like going to college.
Yeah.
I learned how to sit there and negotiate with other adults. And most of these adults are buying a $50,000 town car.
Yeah.
They're not buying to look cool. They're not buying because they need an A to B car. They're buying something because they're like, I can write a check for $50,000 just so I can be comfortable from when I go to the supermarket. So the process of buying a car, as everyone knows, you buy the car, then you wait around.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a long wait. They're prepping the paperwork. They're detailing the cars. So what I would do is I'm like, let me build rapport. I want to know, like, how is it that you're able to write a check for $50,000?
Especially back then, too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For a town car, the same, like, it wouldn't be my first pick if I had $50,000.
Yeah.
You know. So then I was like, I would sit there and I would ask, like, oh, what have you done? Like, where did you retire? What do you do for work? And that's where I started, especially with like older folks. When you start asking them questions of what they've done, they just spill everything.
Yeah.
But where'd you get that insight? Because I feel like a lot of people in your situation or at that age working at a car dealership is just going to want, because I worked at a car dealership when I was 18, and I just wanted people to come in, drive them around, show them the car, bring in the paperwork, bring in my manager to negotiate, and then that's it.
Yeah.
I wanted to go to the next deal and the next deal and the next deal as opposed to sitting down with them. I also worked at Honda, so it was a completely different feel. But what gave you that insight to want to say, like, hey, I want to, build rapport with these people and maybe network or just talk to them, get to know who they are?
For me, not just like in the car business, but just overall, it's like who are you around?
Yeah.
And what are they talking about? And what are they like? What kind of wisdom are they sharing with you?
Mm-hmm.
So at Lincoln, ownership was amazing. He's an honest guy, like just does really very professional, takes care of his people. And then we actually had the number 2 and number 3 guy for Lincoln on the West Coast.
Mm-hmm.
So as I went through training, I'm sitting there like, how are you successful? And one of the things, it's like, go sit there, get to know your customer.
Yeah.
Don't look at them as in just buy a car, thank you, see you later. Like every month we start with like 5 to 10 units just out of repeat customers because you earn their trust.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They like you. They know you're going to listen to them. They know you're going to be patient with them. And when you go spend money, what do you want?
Yeah, you want to be treated well
Exactly.
and feel valued.
Yeah. So that's kind of where I started picking that up, and they're like, don't come back here and sit, wait for the customer or call other customers. This is who's in front of you. Go out there, be with them.
Mhm.
Give them that first class feel, So that's where
Well, the amount of respect too that you'd feel, I would imagine as a customer, the amount of like respect and attention that you're getting, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, next time I'm in the market, or if I know someone that's in the market for a vehicle and they want a Lincoln, I'm gonna refer them over to Josh because he took good care of us.
Exactly.
That's crazy. So how long were you there for at the dealership?
So I was there for a few years. Then situation happened where I couldn't be there. I wanted to be there. They wanted me there. I just couldn't be there. So I ended up going back with my parents. I was with them for, I don't know, like a year. And then there was like a long-time customer. He was like, hey, I saw him. He went to go order food. And I was like, hey, how you been? And he was just like, your parents told me you were at Lincoln for a while. And I was like, yeah. He goes, well, I work at this dealership over here in El Cajon. And he's like, why don't you come work with us? And I was like, I don't know. I'll let you know. Not sure if that's really what I want to do. And then he kept prying. He would come and remind me. And then again, working with family and parents, it just, I don't know. I was like, maybe I should go somewhere else again. Having that freedom where you don't feel like you're working 24/7 and you're on call 24/7.
Yeah.
And if you call in sick, your bosses know you're not sick.
That's funny.
It makes it really tough to a point where I was like, I just want to get out, So he caught me at the right time one day. I ended up going over there, and I learned. I went back to sales. I wasn't meeting their quotas. I was getting 3 months. You have to sell X amount of units. I wasn't meeting it. They were going to fire me. I'm the type of person that's like, I can't give up. Like, are you kidding me? Like, I'm going to get fired?
Yeah.
Me? No. So then next thing you know, like the last month, I ended up killing it, made up for all the other months, stayed. Then they offered me like internet management position once they saw. They're like, oh, he gets the system now.
Mm-hmm.
I go in there again. First couple of months, I was doing horrible, but for me, one of the biggest things that I felt that I left out earlier was wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
In wrestling, you're just so committed, and you get broken down to a point where it's like, are you in it or are you not? Are you going to win or are you going to give up?
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to take some losses, but are you going to let those losses like keep you down, or are you going to go out there, work harder, and get back at it, and then come out on top? So that work ethic, that's helped me translate into my professional career. And when I was in the car business, I just couldn't give up.
Yeah.
So I ended up doing really well in internet sales. Then I was introduced to special finance, where you're dealing with people with not so perfect credit.
Yeah.
What was really cool about there is I had bank reps show up into my office, and we'd sit there and go over every person's credit, units. What is it that the bank looks at? What are they looking for? So for me, the car business was just schooling about finances, banks, customer service, listening to other CEOs' success stories on how they got to where they got to. And so after the car business, I ended up going back to that Lincoln dealership. Then my parents were like, hey, some guy's approaching us. He wants us to take over a restaurant that he has. He owns a shopping center, and he wants our food there, our concept. So we want you to come talk to him. So I went, I talked to him. Come to find out, he had a second location, and we started negotiating a deal. Negotiated an amazing deal on the first one, and he's like, "All right, done. We're here." I was like, "One last thing." He's like, "What is it?" "If you can give us the other location with the same deal." Car business, you know? It's like, what's the worst they're gonna say is
No.
exactly. So that's where I learned to just ask for it, see what's gonna happen. And so we ended up getting two locations at literally nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Equipped, ready to go, turnkey. So then I'm talking to the Lincoln dealership. I'm like, "Guys, sorry, but I gotta go back to the family business." And they took me out to lunch. They were like, "What's it gonna take?"
Oh, to keep you at the dealership.
Yeah. And I was like, "Shoot, man, I can ask for more money right now."
Yeah.
You know? But for me, it was more, I was like, "Look, let me kind of think about things." And I was like, this is like a short term. I can ask for more money, but is this really what I want to do? And I loved my job there.
How old were you at this time?
21, 22.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So, starting to work at 9, I've already had a lot of work experience.
Sure.
So, I was like, came back to them a day or two later and go, "It's not about the money. This is something it's my family, it's our legacy, it's what we know, it's our trade.
Mm-hmm.
I really want to go back to it. There's not a dollar amount. I don't even want to ask for anything. That's why we like you."
Mm-hmm.
They're like, "Go do what you have to do."
Mm-hmm.
So I went. We opened up the 2 locations, and then we just started growing these 2 new locations. They were just killing it, and then out of nowhere, they just plateaued. I'm sitting there like, "What's going on? Should be killing it like our original location." Then I started to realize that once in San Diego, it's such a congested market
Mm-hmm.
that customer share is already everyone already has their customer base. So for you to go in and penetrate another market, some will come out and try you, but then I'm kind of really used to this, or I've been going here for 10 years and they give me free guac.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I was like, man, San Diego, I don't know if I'd want to grow in San Diego. But we were growing. We were doing, we had 12 high schools at the time. So we're delivering food to the cafeterias.
Oh, wow.
Through the school district. And they were selling out.
That's awesome.
Yeah, just a ton of food. Then LaDainian Tomlinson at the time, we were doing a lot of his events.
Mm-hmm.
Celebrity golf tournaments, other events, and so we were definitely growing, and I saw a lot of growth, and my parents were really happy with what we were doing and kind of my vision and what I was trying to do with the business. But then there was a divorce.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I wasn't planning for them to divorce,
Mm-hmm.
But it happened. I was like, whatever, another loss. No problem. It's not the end of the road. I call Lincoln. I go, "Hey, you guys hiring?" They're like, when do you want to start? So I'm back over there. And I'm there for a couple years. I love what I do. I had so much freedom. It was just, I don't know. Co-workers, ownership, everything was just awesome. And then I always had that what if.
Mm-hmm.
What if I went off on my own? What if I opened my own spot? And I'm working at the time. I have a 5-year-old. And I'd look at him and I'm like, I want to offer him more. Like, I really want to offer him more. This is cool. Like, I do have some weekends. Like, I can hang out with him. Like, there's things that, you know, I do have some time off versus owning your own business. But I was like, I really want to find a way to where I can show him different stuff and kind of go from there. And I started looking. In Orange County. I was living in San Diego, but I had some friends in Orange County, and I would go up to Orange County. I'd come up to Orange County.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, we'd go party, bars, whatever. Afterwards, they're like, hey, let's go grab some Mexican food. In my mind, I'm like, should I get some rolled tacos? You know, some Cali burrito. But every time we'd end up at Del Taco.
Del Taco. That's so true though.
And I'm just like, do you guys not have like little hole in the wall taco shops? And they're like, there are, but no one really travels to them. So then after that, once I heard that, I was like, you need to do some market research, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So every time I'd come up to Orange County, I'd try like 5 different like Mexican food places. I'd make a list before I'd come up. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go try this place, and I'm going to go here. What I realized, and then I would venture off to LA as well. So at the end, I was like, man, like, LA has their own concept and style of Mexican food. Orange County has their own, and San Diego has their own. I was like, I want to go give them a taste of San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where I was like, I'm going to start looking for a place. I'm just going to do it. Found a place in Orange. Tiny little spot. 847 square feet. Hidden location. It's like corner. If you drive too fast, you're going to miss the sign. And I was like, that's what I want.
It's next to the Blue Bowl, right? Or no?
Down the street.
Down the street from Blue Bowl?
It's a few blocks away. Yeah, so my whole theory behind it was, if I have a small shop and I have 5 customers, it's going to look
full.
Exactly. So I was like, that's what I want. And I was looking, found this location in Orange, and I was like, that's it. That's the one. Actually, the first location that I found was across the street from Chapman University. It was an old like burger and ice cream place. And I'm calling, it's for lease, so I'm calling them. And then they finally answered me like on a Friday. They're like, hey, yeah, it's for lease, but we have someone looking at it. I was like, I will drive up right now and sign the lease. They're like, yeah, but we already have an appointment. Call us on Monday, and we'll let you know where we're at. I called Monday. They leased it to this place. I don't know if you guys have heard of it, called Bruxy.
Mm-hmm. That was the spot?
That was the spot.
That was a good spot, too.
They killed it.
Yeah.
They blew up.
Yeah.
And anyways, after that, I was like, whatever, I'll just keep looking. And then I found the current Cali Tacos location. And then I just opened up. Tough. Sometimes I was asking myself, like, what did I do?
Did you quit the dealership by this point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A few months, like once I signed the lease and stuff, and then I started figuring out who's gonna, like I need to do like a remodel and stuff, and I didn't know anyone. Like I had some friends in Orange County, but I didn't have all my vendors, all my techs like I did in San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in San Diego, so I was like, it was a whole new start. It was, looking back, once I was in it, I was like, what were you thinking, dude? Like, this is so hard.
How long did it take you to get from the what were you thinking to, all right, I'm on my right path?
there was like kind of like a mix times in especially in the very beginning. It was me because I was the cook, the dishwasher, the prep. I was everything. Open and close every day. My girlfriend was a cashier and her cousin. So we're used to making everything fresh.
Yeah.
So I was making these little containers of guacamole, pico, so it was fresh. And then a couple weeks go by, we're doing good, and then just out of nowhere, like on a Tuesday or Wednesday, whatever it was, I have a line like out the door, and I'm running out of everything because I couldn't keep up. And that's where I was like, you know what? I see the future now. I see why I did it, but seriously, still, like, what were you thinking?
You still question everything. Yeah. I think that's a great question because I think I don't know, maybe now that you're a little bit more established. I mean, 12 years is a long time, but I've only had my business since 2016 on and off, where I've gone back and gone to work for other people, and just since August of last year I've been back on my own like full time, and there's still times now, being six years, almost 6 years into it, like where I'm like, what are you doing? Like, why are you doing this? It'd be so easy to go get another job, just clock in and out and know what I'm getting paid. But then there's moments where like I'll go out in the middle of the day with Ben and go get some food, and we'll have good conversations about business and like what we can do with the podcast, and just get to brainstorm. And then after, I'm like that's why you go out, is because you can have those like idea sessions and just talk about different things and get motivated and kind of get that a kick in the ass that you need sometimes to go, or I'll see examples, and not to kiss his ass because I've talked about it before, but like I'll see him working behind the counter, the owner of the shop, on a Sunday. And I'm like, what is he doing on a Sunday? Like, he just did it last weekend.
A couple of days ago.
And I'm like, man, like that's why it takes that time. Not only is it like a good leadership quality, but it takes that type of dedication and determination and work ethic to be successful. I think a lot, and I don't know if we talked about it on air, but Ben was telling me, he goes, a lot of people quit right before they're about to have success. A ton of people, because that's when it gets the hardest. And like right now, I'm like moving out. I got a 60-day notice to move out because my landlord's selling the place. I'm just about to get super busy because football season's going to start again. The podcast isn't where we want it to be. The business isn't where we want it to be. And I'm just like, man, like, what am I doing? You're an idiot. Like, go back to work and just go work 9 to 5. And then there's other times where I'm like, nope, this is why you do it, is for certain freedoms and abilities to say no. Like, if I want more, I have to do more. And you have that capability. But what did you guys change anything as far as like you opening up your own spot and then having your family spot and the success they had down in San Diego? Did you guys change anything when you came up here, or did you keep a lot of the same thing to give them that San Diego flavor?
So that's a great question, because that's really kind of what set me apart. Was, so for what, the 30 plus years, everyone was doing like your name plus Burritos. Yeah. Right? And then you'd walk into like a taco shop and you can get enchiladas, tostadas, menudo, all these different items. That's a taco shop. It's like a fast food with a sit down menu. Growing up, having that face to face since I was 9 years old with customers, I started to realize, like, they'd come in, hey, what do you suggest? And I'd be like, well, this is what a lot of people like really like.
Yeah.
So when I started to open up my own place, I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna call it Josh's Tacos, Josh Burritos Tacos or anything. I was like, I need people to understand. Oh, so backstory about that is, when we were building out the 2 new locations, I was dealing with all the sign guys that making
Yeah.
signs and stuff. And they were like, I was like, hey, have it say Cerritos. I'm like, Josh, no one's not gonna know what Cerritos is. You got to call it Mexican. It's got to say Mexican food in big letters and maybe Cerritos in the corner. I was like, well, then I'm like, then how are you growing your brand if you're doing that?
Yeah.
Like, you're very generic. It's like just saying hamburgers. Like,
Yeah.
so they were like, typically you want to be within a 7 to 8 letter name. It'll fit perfect in your sign. And then I was like, so I took that, and then I took the whole, like, I want people to know that they're coming to eat tacos, but they're not coming to eat,
A million other things.
well, they have it authentic from Mexico City tacos, you know, or tacos from LA, well, flavors of LA, but not like full on, like, or Tex-Mex or authentic. So I said, this is like Cali style tacos. California Mexican food. So that's where I was like, that's more of a brand than Josh.
Yeah. So true.
You know, so I started with that. So I started stepping out of the norm, out of all the success down in San Diego that they've used, that blueprint that they've used to be successful. I started to step away from that, and I said, okay, let's do it this way. And then I don't remember the last time I was like, hey, dude, I know this bomb torta place, or I know this bomb tostada place. I'm craving tostadas.
Yeah.
Like maybe once every 5 years,
Yeah.
you know? But everyone's like, let's go get a burrito. Let's go get some tacos.
All
Yeah.
the time. Yeah.
So that's where I was like, you know what? I'm just going to specialize in these burritos that I've personally firsthand seen customers come up to me and say, that was amazing. That's like so good. That little adjustment changed the whole flavor of it all. So that's where I was like, okay, I'm going to make a menu based off those items
That's sick.
that I've tested and I've seen positive results from firsthand.
How does it make you feel as the creator of it to have the community receive it so well? Is it different when you are, quote unquote, the founder, owner versus like, oh, I work for my family's restaurant?
Absolutely, because now all the failures fall on me, and all the success falls on me.
So true.
You know, you can't blame anyone else. It's
like wrestling.
yeah, exactly. One-on-one, just you, and that's it.
Those are the best things, though. Is it's all reliant on you, right? Like I think where people get themselves in trouble is like they'll ride that high when it's high, but when it's low, you quit or you freak out or you start to make some really poor decisions. But I think that's what's really special about creating. Like if you weren't a creator, if you weren't a founder, if you weren't an entrepreneur, then there's nothing wrong with that. But there's something so special about embracing it. You know, it sounds so lame, but everyone's heard the saying, but like embrace the suck. You know,
Embrace
like
the grind.
Well, like, you know, in the Marine Corps we say it all the time, like, because half the crap we did just sucked. Like 90% of the crap we did sucked. It's not what you see on the TV. It's not the war movies.
Commercials.
Like, yeah, most of it sucked. So you always say embrace the suck, because that 10% is more exhilarating and fulfilling than any other thing that you could have done. And that same concept goes to like being the business owner, right? Like you're the leader, you're providing jobs for families, you're genuinely helping provide for people. And it gets tough at times, but that's been something for me that's like, you're providing for people.
Yeah.
Like there's right now, I think we have close to 50. There's 50 people relying on my decisions, like good or bad.
Yeah.
And I think it's just, it's not for the faint of heart, but people, they just quit. They give up. They don't know how to problem solve. They don't take that challenge on.
Yeah.
And so there's times where obviously, like we said, it's rough and it sucks and you're like, dang, why did I do this? But then I've kind of framed and changed that mindset in myself and said, I get to do this. And having that switch is it's true. I mean, I still have my days, don't get me wrong, where I'm like, dude, I'm gonna just throw in the towel, but I think that's what's so special about being in the position you're in, or that anyone that makes that leap is in. I just went on a crazy tangent, but
no, it's good.
It's
I
awesome.
like it.
So for you, like, I like to ask this question, and then maybe we'll wrap up a little bit.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, you've been able to be successful in a couple of things. I love that you said you used, this is an important thing for people to remember, like, education is not always let me go to this best school. Education for me, like, if I was looking at 2 resumes for a management position, and I saw yours come across with all this life experience, hands-on experience versus person that just graduated from USC, I'm gonna take the experience all day long. So I love that you said, and I wanted to highlight that your school was learning, this, what do they always say, the school of hard knocks or whatever.
Yeah.
But using your time doing that and learning, I think that was huge. But what's next for you guys in Cali Tacos? Are you gonna cruise where you're at? Like, do you have plans, whatever you want to share or not share? That's something too, that is so loud. But yeah, please, like, share that with us, and then maybe give a little bit of that motivational, inspirational, like, if
sure.
someone's like wanting to take that leap, what, just that form of encouragement.
Yeah. We have a lot of things in the works. A lot of big things. Like the whole breaking out of the norm, like, we're taking it to a different level. So
Awesome.
it's been in the works for a few years. So I'm within the next year, everyone will start seeing a different Cali Tacos.
That's cool.
So
That's exciting.
yeah, it's something I've never seen. It's something like no one, like, so I'm beyond excited for it. I feel like that's really gonna make a stamp on who Cali Tacos really is. So, and then as far as like motivational, it's, for me, it's what helped me get to where I am today is embracing the failures, the successes, embracing my mom's advice, even though she comes from a small town in Mexico with a 2nd grade level of education, that still was able to, like, teach me things that, I mean, most people don't even learn. I have friends that went to prestigious universities, went to business schools, and they're like, dude, how do you know this?
Yeah.
My mom. Surrounding yourself with people like you, or that think like you, or people that are just successful at something. You get to pick up advice, do's and don'ts from people, and when you're dealt with like an issue at hand, you start thinking like, what should I do, man?
Yeah.
Go back and look at other people, what they've done and what were their results. So I think a key part is not being a know-it-all, but actually listening and embracing like the people around you, and figuring out like, do I want to like just party and hang out with the cool crowd, or do I want to like see like, hey man, that guy's like run down. Why is he run down? Oh, because he's stressed. Why are you stressed? Oh, because I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And then you're like, oh my God, dude, you're a machine. No wonder you're run down. I couldn't do that. So embrace the cards you're dealt.
I like that. That's great. That's
That
good.
might be the quote.
That is. No, that's good.
Embrace the cards you're
I
dealt.
love that, because so many people are just quick to do like talk, but they don't want to receive. Especially as like young, and when you're starting out, you feel like you have everything to prove, right? Like, I don't need no one's help. I got this. But asking, you said it at the very beginning, but you learn to just ask.
Yeah.
That for me is what stuck out about your whole thing, is in talking to you and hearing you. It's like, you've just never been afraid to ask and learn.
Yeah.
And that's more valuable than a freaking piece of paper that says degree from blah, 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 blah. But we appreciate your time. Thank you for coming on, making time for us. If anyone's ever around Orange or Santa Ana, Cali Tacos, I kind of want some right now. So,
Let's go get
Mr.
some.
Manny, you got anything?
Yeah, where can people find you?
Like social media.
Where can they support you? Go to your website, go to the store.
Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate
course,
everything.
man.
I know you guys have had some pretty big wigs here,
No.
big names. That me, I'm like, man, like you guys had that guy there.
We can
You guys had
introduce you.
her. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
If you ever want to meet any of
Oh,
them.
are you kidding me? I'd love to.
If not,
all of them.
people are all like mean to us, I just stick Manny on them.
Good, right? The muscle.
Yeah. But what's your guys' Instagram?
So it's Cali_tacos.
Okay.
And our website's calitacos.com.
Mhm.
Awesome. All
Best
right.
way to-
Yeah, so go check it out, guys. Like Ben said, if you guys are ever in Orange or in Santa Ana, go try it out. Post a picture. Let us know what you guys thought. And again, go to the website. Go check out thefightwithinpodcast.com. Go buy a shirt so I can pay my bills. And once again, thank you guys. It was
Yeah,
an
thank
awesome
you.
episode. And remember, guys, that everything was impossible until someone did it.